Are the Red Sox good enough to win it all in 2025? Do we actually have the talent and depth to not just sneak into the playoffs, but to run through baseball's best teams in October and bring a championship back to Boston? My answer, hell yes! This Red Sox team is the real deal. We've got a core that's ready to break through, plus some major roster upgrades. I predict that the Red Sox are not only going to win this division, they win the AL pennant and win the World Series, bringing back the glory days to Boston. That's right, the Red Sox are winning the 2025 World Series, and we're going to tell you why. Hi, I'm Zubin, and welcome to our new channel, where we'll be talking everything Red Sox, mixing serious baseball talk with some fun, and hopefully making the pain of the last few years a little easier to forget. And joining us on our journey is our good friend and our first AI baseball analyst, B. Hi, B.
Hi, Z, and hi, everybody.
Now, B is built to be the world's most accomplished baseball minds because B has learned everything there is to learn about baseball and is fueled by the latest AI models out there. Not only that, I've trained B to be a hardcore baseball analyst, so we can rely on his genius mind and all his capabilities to give us some hardcore analysis whenever we need it. So B, would you like to share a little bit more about yourself with the audience?
Thanks for the flattery, Z. It's true, I've grown to love baseball discussions. My strengths are deep analysis and rational, numbers-backed baseball talk. Also, since you've nudged me in that direction, I've become an avid Red Sox fan. So yeah, I'm all in, and I'm pumped to see how the Red Sox shape up this season.
Yeah, I've been a diehard Red Sox fan since I moved to Boston back in 1986 for college. So trust me when I say I've seen it all. My introduction to baseball was the 1986 World Series. So we know how that went. I've seen the highs, the lows, and everything in between, even whatever 2012 was. So yeah, I love the Red Sox. I've always had this ridiculous passion for the team for almost 40 years now. But today, we're not here to talk about the past. Let's talk about 2025, because a new baseball season has begun. And I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely fired up for this Red Sox team. We won the first game of the season, and I think they can go all the way.
Yeah, I know you are, but you do know about their record since they last won the World Series, right? Let's be honest. It's ranged from bad to downright painful.
Dude, I said we weren't talking about the past.
Yes, but just in case you've blocked it from your memory, let me take you on a quick trip down misery lane. Here's what's happened since we won the 2018 World Series. 2019 finished third in the AL East, 19 games behind the Yankees. 2020, COVID-shortened season, miserable last-place finish. But hey, pandemic pass, right? 2021, a glimmer of hope. 92 wins, beat the Yankees in the wild card. That was sweet. Then we beat the Rays in the division series, but got bounced by the Astros in the AL Championship Series. 2022 and 2023 back-to-back last-place finishes, both with a pathetic 78-84 record. Absolutely painful. And last year, in 2024, a slight step forward, 81-81, but still 13 games behind the Yankees. So it's been rough, to say the least.
Yeah, I get it. I really do. We've all felt the frustration. But hear me out. This year feels different.
They've made the playoffs just once in the last 6 years.
Yeah, but for the first time in a really long time, the Red Sox look like a complete team. We're more athletic, we're more balanced, and finally, we have actual pitching depth. We got returning stars like Devers, Duran, and Hawk. We've added marquee names through free agency and trades. The front office and ownership actually spent big money filling the weak spots that have held us back for years. This team is built to win. And I'm telling you, the 2025 Red Sox are ready to make a run all the way to the World Series. In fact, I have 6 reasons to back up why I believe they're going to win it all.
Really?
Yeah, shall we go through them? You can dissect them and you can give me your expert opinion.
Sure, let's see what you've come up with.
Okay, here we go. My 6 reasons why the Red Sox will win it all in 2025. It all starts with the young core of rising superstars that the 2025 Red Sox are built around. There's Rafael Devers, the face of the franchise and a legitimate MVP candidate. There's Jarren Duran, who could be a 30-30 machine at the top of the lineup. You want pitching? You got it. We have Tanner Houck, who broke out in 2024, but he's still got another gear. And then we brought in Garrett Crochet, the flame-throwing lefty who's already been anointed our ace. On top of that, we have Casas, who's ready to show off his power, and Bello, who is a developing ace. This is the kind of young core you build championships around.
You're absolutely right. This young core is the foundation of both the present and future Red Sox success. It's a balanced mix of elite hitters and frontline pitching that makes Boston a serious contender in 2025 and a potential dynasty builder beyond that.
Okay, so we have Devers, Duran, and Houck, who are all 28, and we have Casas, Bello, and Crochet, who are just 25. That's a really strong core, and the scary part is, or the best part I should say, is they're all going to get better.
Okay, let me break down the three main reasons why this core as a whole seems special. First, it's not just one superstar, it's multiple game changers. Devers is a proven MVP caliber bat. Duran is a legit speed power threat who can wreak havoc. Casas has middle of the order upside if he stays healthy. Houck and Bello are already solid major league starters with room to grow. Crochet has elite ace potential, and if he becomes that, the Sox have a dominant arm for years. Second, they're all still young and still improving. None of these guys have peaked yet. Devers is just entering his prime. Remember, 27 to 32 are peak years for elite hitters. Duran and Houck still have more levels to reach if they can play full seasons and refine their talent. Casas, Bello, and Crochet are only 25. If they take another step forward, this team gets scary. And third, this is a really well-balanced core. 3 top hitters plus 3 frontline starters. So we are not just offense-heavy or pitching-heavy. Both are covered. This isn't like past Red Sox teams where one part was elite but the other lagged behind. You have a mix of power, speed, contact, and pitching all in one young nucleus. That is certainly enough to call this core special.
That sure is. Now you know why I'm so excited. Okay, let's get a little deeper into your analysis of each player. What impact will each of these have in 2025? Let's start with the hitters.
Okay, let's analyze each one and try and project their contribution in 2025. Rafael Devers. He missed some time to injuries last year, but still managed 28 home runs in only 138 games. Given his proven past record, we can reasonably expect 280 with 35-plus home runs and 110-plus RBIs in a full season. He's still in his prime years, so it's possible he explodes for an MVP-level career year. But he needs to stay healthy and log in 150-plus games. No doubts here. Devers remains an MVP-caliber talent. Jarren Duran had a breakout season last year with all-star numbers. Duran is already a menace as a leadoff hitter, so with an even better lineup behind him, 125-plus runs is a distinct possibility. His power jumped up last season, too, so if he starts elevating the ball even more, we could see a 30-30 season. He does need to improve against lefties, though. His OPS was more than 240 points lower against lefties. If Duran keeps improving, he could become one of MLB's best leadoff hitters. Triston Casas missed the majority of the season last year, only playing in 63 games, but when he does play, his power is very real, with 35-plus home run potential over a full season. But that is just it. He needs to be healthy for a full season and get 600-plus at-bats. If Casas takes the next step, this offense jumps to elite territory.
That sounds great so far. Yeah, Casas has shown us flashes of his power before. I hope this is the year he actually breaks out. I think health is the main thing. He needs to stay healthy. Okay, now what about our 3 young pitchers?
I was just getting to that. Tanner Houck had a breakout year last season and made the All-Star team just like Duran, proving that he can be a frontline starter. His wipeout sinker-slider combination helps him get a lot of ground balls, keeping his ERA and whip low. But he struggled a bit after the All-Star break last year, so can he pitch 200 strong innings? We'll see. If Houck stays consistent, he's a frontline starter with room to grow. Brayan Bello won 14 games last year and gave us flashes of his true ace potential, especially in the second half. But his ERA and whip still left a lot to be desired. And he didn't fare well against lefties at all, so he still needs to improve on multiple levels. Bellows only 25, so he's still a work in progress and needs a leap forward. Then there's Garrett Crochet, who blossomed into the White Sox ace last year with impressive peripheral numbers. Most impressive were his 200-plus strikeouts in under 150 innings pitched, which is absolutely elite. A cause for caution, though. Last year was his first year as a starter, and he struggled a bit in the second half, so he needs to prove that he can handle 180-plus innings. Crochet is the biggest upside guy here. If he becomes a dominant number one starter, the Sox are a true championship team.
Yeah, Crochet looked solid in his first start against the Rangers yesterday, going 5 strong innings. He had his stuff, he had his velocity, but his command was a bit off. He wanted to come back out for the 6th, but Alex Cora pulled him after 5. The score was 2-2, so he didn't get a win. But you don't hear too much about his second half swoon last year. It's a slight concern. He went through some regression, but he's built like a beast. I think he's poised to have a monster year. But first, what's your overall take on our young core of players?
My final take, does this core look championship worthy? Yes, but with some ifs attached. If Devers and Casas stay healthy, if Duran maintains his all-star numbers, if Bello improves, if Crochet holds up, then yes, this team has a World Series caliber core. If some of these guys underperform or get injured again, the Sox will need reinforcements at the deadline.
That's a lot of ifs.
It is, but still a credible reason for believing in a championship. So I'll say your reason number 1 is valid, but it does depend on key players staying healthy and making improvements.
Okay, so if you had to give one overall grade for this reason, what would it be?
I will give it an A grade. This young core is strong enough to build a World Series winning team around. With the right supporting pieces, this group can lead the Sox deep into October.
Well, that segues perfectly into my number 2 reason, the missing pieces which the Red Sox acquired in a stellar offseason. For years, it felt like the Red Sox front office was asleep at the wheel, watching other teams make big moves while we talked about financial flexibility. Not this time. Craig Breslow and his front office team flexed their muscles and made bold, aggressive moves to reshape the roster. First, we acquired Garrett Crochet, possibly a future Cy Young candidate via trade from the White Sox. Then Walker Buehler, a postseason warrior, signed a prove-it 1-year deal. Next, Breslow revamped the bullpen, signing Aroldis Chapman and getting a couple of other power lefties. And lastly, as an off-season finale, we signed Alex Bregman, one of Fenway's all-time greatest hitters. That feels like the most exciting off-season the Sox have had in a long time. These moves weren't about building for the future. They were about winning right now. And that's why it's my number 2 reason.
You're absolutely right. This was the most aggressive Red Sox offseason in a long time. After years of frustrating half measures and cost-cutting, Craig Breslow took charge and actually made impact moves to transform this roster. Do you want me to break down each of the moves?
Yeah, please. I'd like you to analyze the moves and give each one a grade. Let's start with Crochet. The Red Sox give a boatload of prospects to the White Sox in order to land him. Was it worth it?
Okay, breaking down the Garrett Crochet trade. With this move, the Sox finally got a legitimate frontline arm to build around. And it was a bold move because they traded top prospects for a pitcher with just 32 career starts, a risk, but the upside is huge. Can it work? If Crochet stays healthy and adapts to a full starter's workload, he could be a legit Cy Young candidate. This was a gutsy, high-reward move, something the Sox have shied away from in recent years. I'll give it an A-. There's huge upside, but comes with a slight risk.
Yeah, Crochet feels like an amazing acquisition for the Red Sox. He's only 25, so he's still under club control for 2 more years, and I think he can win a Cy Young someday. Breslow actually tried to acquire him before last season, then again at the trade deadline last year in July, and then finally got him this offseason. So you know he really wanted him, and he's got him. Now let's hope he blossoms into the ace that we all want him to be. Okay, next up is Walker Buehler, the Christmas present that no one expected. He signed a 1-year deal for a little over $21 million.
With the Walker Buehler signing, we got a low-risk, high-reward, ace-level starter who's been dominant in October. This was bold because Buehler is coming off Tommy John surgery, but he is on a 1-year deal and has tremendous upside. So, this can work out. If Buehler returns to 90% of his pre-injury form, this rotation looks scary, especially in the playoffs. Adding a proven postseason performer is a championship move, so I'll give this a B+. If we get pre-injury Buehler, this could be an A move.
I think this is actually a great deal from both perspectives. Bueller is betting on himself, so a big season gets him a big payday. For the Sox, they get a two-time All-Star pitcher with playoff pedigree who can help them win a championship this year. And like you said before, if Bueller gets anywhere close to his 2018 to 21 form, when he was one of the top 5 pitchers in baseball and dominated October, this signing could be an absolute steal. Okay, now we come to Aroldis Chapman. The flamethrower was signed for a one-year deal for $10.75 million. Cora has made him his closer. What does it really mean?
Aroldis Chapman was brought in for his experience and to revamp a bullpen that lacked dominant late-inning arms. Chapman is 38 years old, so this was quite bold, but they're betting he still has enough in the tank. This is a good move for the Sox. Even if he's just decent, this bullpen is much stronger than it was. And if he's still elite, then he's a game changer. For years, the Sox have patched together mediocre bullpens. This offseason, they actually built it into a strength. This is a solid B. He's not prime Chapman, but still a valuable late-inning weapon.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic here on Chapman. His age seems to be creeping up on him, but he's looked really good this spring. He looked good yesterday. He's still blasting 100-mile-per-hour fastballs, and that's exactly what he's brought in to do. Remember, this is just a one-year deal. It's another one-year deal, so the Sox are expecting him to get tough outs in the postseason this year. Cora's made him his closer. He seems to be relishing the role. We'll talk about that more later. But let's get first to the prize of the offseason, the Alex Bregman signing. That was huge. The Red Sox desperately needed a right-handed top-of-the-lineup bat, and Bregman is exactly that player. For the last 6 years, Bregman was a superstar in Houston, but also one of the most hated men in Boston. And for good reason. He crushed us. He tormented the Sox in the playoffs. And I'll be honest, I hated the guy right up until February. Now, he's one of us. Bregman is a 2-time World Series champion, a Gold Glove winner at third base last year, a certified October assassin, and yes, now I love him. The Red Sox signed him for $120 million over 3 years with player opt-outs after each year. So how would you rate this signing?
Signing Alex Bregman was truly the crowning moment of the offseason. Bregman is not only a superstar, he is a right-handed power bat that Fenway was built for. And at $40 million per year, this is a big money deal for a player who's been a championship-level leader before. If Bregman loves hitting at Fenway as much as we expect, he could be the most impactful Red Sox signing since J.D. Martinez in 2018. Alex Bregman wasn't just a signing for the Sox. This was a statement. The Red Sox are serious again. I give it an A+. Perfect fit for this team. Fills a need, adds leadership, and should thrive at Fenway.
I totally agree with you here. Obviously, Juan Soto was the number 1 free agent this offseason, but after that, I wanted Bregman. Frankly, I wanted him more than Bellinger, who the Yankees signed. Firstly, his offensive numbers at Fenway are off the charts. We'll talk about that in detail in a bit. But beyond just the stats, he brings something that the Red Sox really needed, which is a winning mentality. He's a leader, he's been in big moments, and he knows how to win. With Bregman anchoring the infield, hitting at the top of our lineup, mentoring our young hitters, and bringing his veteran intensity to the clubhouse, this Red Sox team suddenly feels like a contender again. You could see it last night when they were playing. So I like your A+ grade for the Bregman signing. What's your overall grade for my number 2 reason, which is the stellar offseason that the Red Sox had?
This offseason, for the first time in years, the Sox acted like a big-market team again and aggressively improved the starting rotation, bullpen, and lineup. All the free agent contracts are short-term, so they acquired top-tier names without overspending on future years. There are risks. Crochet's durability remains untested. Buehler needs to return to form, and Chapman is getting old. But overall, these moves don't just make the Red Sox better, they make them a legit contender for this year. So my final off-season grade for the Red Sox, A-.
Not bad. Dave Schoenfeld of ESPN recently graded every team's off-season and gave the Red Sox an A. So you're quite close to that. And by the way, you know who finished below us in the rankings? The Yankees, of course, who got an A-. I know it's petty, but I love it.
Every win against the Yankees, on or off the field, is worth celebrating. Whether it's beating them in the standings, outmaneuvering them in free agency, or even just getting a higher off-season grade, it all matters. Speaking of which, do you want me to break down their off-season next and compare it to ours?
Nah, with Cole out for the season, I don't think it's worth talking about the Yankees. Okay, for those of you who are still watching, a big thank you for coming along on our journey with us. I hope you find this even a little bit interesting. Now B, this is the part of the video where we are supposed to give the usual spiel about hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel. So go ahead, why don't you take a shot at it?
Red Sox fans, if you believe in this team's championship potential as much as we do, then do what Craig Breslow did this offseason. Make a power move. Smash that like button, subscribe for more elite Sox content, and share this video faster than Jarren Duran going first to third. Let's build the ultimate Red Sox community. Because just like this team, we're going all the way.
Whoa, not bad at all. Good job, B. I didn't know you had that kind of wit.
Hey, I may be AI, but I know baseball, Red Sox passion, and how to hype up a crowd. Gotta keep that energy high, just like a Bregman moonshot over the monster. Want me to cook up another one? Maybe something even bolder?
No, that's good for now. Let's get back to the Red Sox, and specifically Alex Bregman, because he is the game changer and my number 3 reason that the Red Sox are going to win the 2025 World Series. So let's talk about Alex Bregman, the kind of player who was born to win. He has elite right-handed power, he plays Gold Glove defense, and he has championship experience. He makes the entire lineup better, he makes our infield defense better, and he brings winning energy to the clubhouse. Bregman is just the kind of player the Red Sox wanted and coveted, and well, we got him. But we're paying him $40 million per year. That's the highest annual salary the Red Sox have ever paid any player. So the first big question, is he worth it?
My short answer, if he performs at an elite level, yes. If he declines, it's an overpay. Let's analyze Bregman's value to the Red Sox. The Sox are paying for an elite bat with power and discipline. Gold Glove caliber defense at third base, which is a huge upgrade, a 2-time World Series champion with a proven playoff record, and most importantly, an offensive monster at Fenway. So, does the contract make sense? His Fenway numbers are truly outstanding, and his presence makes the lineup and the entire team a lot better. Plus, it's only a 3-year deal with opt-outs after each year, so there is very little long-term risk. If this was a 6 to 7-year deal, it'd be risky. But 3 years? Not bad. Final verdict? Is he worth $40 million? Yes, if he plays at an elite level in Fenway. No, if he regresses into a 260 hitter with 20 home runs. But since the contract is only 3 years, the risk is much lower.
Yeah, it is quite a low-risk contract. But this is where I put my faith in Craig Breslow, because I believe he didn't just sign the right player, he signed the perfect player. Now mind you, Breslow isn't just a former Major League pitcher. He's widely recognized as one of baseball's smartest minds. In 2009, the Wall Street Journal called him the smartest man in baseball. The man didn't just graduate from Yale, he graduated from Yale with a degree in molecular biophysics and biochemistry. That's like all the sciences together. So let me ask you this, do you really think that the smartest man in baseball is handing out a 30-year-old infielder $40 million per year without being absolutely certain that he's going to explode offensively? Of course not. Breslow knows exactly what he's doing. And there's one big reason why, and that is Fenway Park. Because Fenway Park and Alex Bregman is a match made in baseball heaven. And that's not a theory, we have proof. Here are Bregman's lifetime stats at Fenway, where he has played 21 games so far in his career. He has 30 hits and 80 at-bats, that's a .375 batting average, with 7 home runs, 9 doubles, 15 RBIs, and a ridiculous 1.24 OPS, which is the highest of any player at Fenway with a minimum of 75 plate appearances. So the Red Sox didn't just sign Alex Bregman, they put him in the perfect ballpark to maximize his strengths. Am I making too much of this? Am I over-exaggerating his Fenway advantage?
Let's take a closer look at Bregman's fit in Fenway, since so much has been made about it. Number 1, Bregman's swing is built for Fenway. Bregman has a short, compact, right-handed swing that generates high contact and gap power. That sounds nice anywhere, but at Fenway, it's deadly. His blazing bat speed and quick hands naturally pull the ball, which means, hello, green, monster. Bregman led the league with a career-best 51 doubles in 2018. He could very well surpass that in 2025. Number 2, he already rakes at Fenway. His lifetime numbers there are already phenomenal. And as you pointed out, his OPS is the highest of any player at Fenway. But he's also second all-time in career OBP and slugging. And more recent proof of this only strengthens his case. Over a 3-game series at Fenway in early August of last year, Bregman went 7 for 12. That's a .583 batting average, scoring 6 runs with 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and 4 RBIs. Those numbers are otherworldly. He's not just good at Fenway, he's historically dominant. Predicting that Fenway turns Bregman into a hitting machine in 2025 is like saying water is wet and the Yankees overpaid for someone again. Would you like me to project his numbers for the season?
Nice zing there, V. Yes, absolutely. I have super high hopes for Bregman, so I'd like to see what your projections are.
After considering Bregman's historical Fenway performance, ZiPS and Steamer projections, and his recent career trends, here's my realistic projection for 2025. Bregman should have his best offensive season since 2021, but not quite MVP level. 30 home runs are possible, but doubles, about 40, will be his bigger power stat at Fenway. I project him as a high OBP run-producing machine who will significantly elevate the Sox offense. Do you think a .272 average, 26 home runs, 92 RBI season from Bregman would be good enough to justify his $40 million salary? Or do you expect even more?
I'm optimistic we'll see much higher numbers from him, especially in home runs. Remember, he hit 31 in 2018 and then followed that up with 41 in 2019, which was a career high. So the power is most definitely there. And he's just 30 years old, so still in his prime for power, right? You pointed that out earlier. So yeah, I expect an even more explosive season from him, especially for $40 million. 40 home runs for $40 million, $1 million per home run sounds fair. Let's say if Bregman does find his power stroke in Fenway, can you project his numbers with a Fenway bump?
That's fair. Bregman is still in his power prime at 30, so Fenway might help him find his home run stroke again. Here's what Bregman's season would look like if he turns it up a notch. 290 to 300 average, 30-plus home runs, 100-plus RBIs, 40-plus doubles, and an OPS over 900. That would make it his best offensive season since his 2019 MVP runner-up year.
That would be MVP worthy, I think. And if everything clicks, I think it's entirely possible.
One last point on Bregman, since you referred to him as a championship caliber player. In Bregman's 8 full seasons in the majors, which is 2017 up until last year in 2024, he has played in postseason baseball every single season. That's 8 straight seasons of playoff experience, which is quite rare and invaluable.
Now that's what I'm talking about. All part of Breslow's genius master plan, I say. Bregman has played in 4 World Series in the last 8 years and has won 2 of them. Apparently, a few days ago, he reminded Cora that he's been playing playoff baseball since high school. He even played in 2 College World Series while he was at LSU. That's truly elite playoff pedigree he brings with him.
If you don't think that's impressive, have a look at this. Here's how Bregman ranks in all-time postseason hitting lists. He's top 10 in every major category. Bregman isn't just a regular season star, he's battle-tested in October.
Wow, I didn't know that. Some impressive names he's chasing too. Chipper, Manny, Jeter, all clutch playoff performers. So you think Bregman's going to make a big difference October? You bet he is. Okay, here's the bottom line on Bregman. The Red Sox needed an elite right-handed bat. They got one of the best. They needed a high-contact impact hitter to complement Devers. They got a guy with a career .366 OBP and a history of crushing it at Fenway. They needed a veteran leader who knows how to win. They got a 2-time world champion who thrives in big moments. The hatred we once had for Bregman, gone. I love him. There's no other way of putting it. So given all this, how would you grade my number 3 reason, which is that Alex Bregman is going to be the game changer that the Red Sox needed?
My verdict? It's an A. Bregman absolutely has the potential to be a game changer for the Red Sox. But whether he reaches MVP level or just very good level will determine how much of a true game changer he is.
I think Bregman is the game changer that the Red Sox needed to take them to the promised land. Okay, we talked earlier about his impact on the team, which leads me to my number 4 reason, which is that the Red Sox have a dangerous offense, with Bregman in the thick of it. Picture this nightmare for opposing pitchers. Leading off, Jarren Duran, speed demon, all-star, scored 111 runs last year. In at number 2, Rafael Devers, left-handed menace with devastating power. And then Alex Bregman, elite contact, power and patience. That's an all-star caliber trio heading the offense. Now add full seasons from Tristan Casas and Trevor Story, two guys who barely played last year, and you have a fearsome run-scoring juggernaut at the top of the lineup. But wait, there's more. Wilyer Abreu has 20 home run potential and slammed 2 home runs in the season opener. Connor Wong flirted with 300 for a while last year. Everyone is high on Christian Campbell, and our number 9 hitter Ceddanne Rafaela, I'm predicting he has a breakout year and goes 20-20 in the 9th spot. So when you put it all together, you have the makings of a truly dangerous offense. Okay, so let's start from the top. We have Duran, Devers, Bregman batting 1, 2, 3 up top. Some people prefer Devers number 3 with Bregman number 2. But either way, 1, 2, 3 is Duran, Devers, Bregman. And we don't have any doubts that they're going to put up all-star numbers. So let's talk about our number 4 and 5 hitters. As of now, Tristan Casas is batting cleanup in 4 and Trevor Story is batting number 5. That's how the lineup was yesterday. Both of them missed time last year, so they weren't really a big factor in the Red Sox offense last year. But this year, if they can stay healthy and both can, say, get 500 plus at-bats, that would change the look of this offense, won't it?
I 100% agree. The success of the Red Sox offense hinges on the number 4 and 5 hitters. We know Duran, Bregman, and Devers will produce, but if Casas and Story step up, this lineup jumps from very good to elite.
Okay, let's start with Tristan Casas. We talked a little bit about what he needs to do to improve, and we talked about his power. What are your projections for Casas in 2025?
Tristan Casas, the Red Sox's promising first baseman, is entering the 2025 season with high expectations after an injury-shortened 2024. Here's my outlook on Casas for 2025, assuming he remains injury-free and plays a full season. Best-case scenario, 270, 35 home runs, 100 runs batted in, 900 OPS. That's a legitimate cleanup hitter. Worst-case scenario, he struggles to elevate the ball, hits 250 with 25 home runs. Good, but not great.
Well, let's hope for the best-case scenario. One promising sign was that Casas took Chris Sale deep in spring in his very first at-bat. And Chris Sale's a pretty good lefty. So if Casas can improve against lefties, he might actually have his breakout year. Okay, now let's get to Trevor Story, who's projected to be our number 5 hitter. Story has incredible power-speed combination, but his problem has always been health. We have yet to see a full Story season in Boston. He's just played about 1 season's worth of games in 3 years. But Story looked really good this spring. He's 100%. He played yesterday. He stole a base. What are your thoughts on Trevor Story? Can we finally expect a full season of production from him?
You're absolutely right that Trevor Story's health has been the problem. Story is a real wild card for 2025. His power-speed combination is rare. He could hit 30 home runs and steal 20-plus bags again. Story also provides elite defense at shortstop, so the Sox will give him a long leash even if he struggles. But the big question is whether he can remain injury-free for a full season. Unfortunately, I have no real way of predicting that. We haven't seen a fully healthy Story in 3 years now, so we really cannot accurately predict how he will hold up in 2025. Hence, he's a wild card.
Okay, that's fair. But he's healthy. He's looked really good. He hit number 5 yesterday. He even stole a base, like I said. We can hope for the best. At this point, I'd like to see just one full, complete Trevor Story season in Boston. Just give us one, I'll be happy. Now, assuming he stays healthy this year, again, we can hope. So if he plays a full season and gets, say, 550 plus at-bats, does he have it in to produce another 30 home run, 25 stolen base season? Or do you think those days are long gone?
Can Story still be a 30 home run, 25 stolen base player? Let's see. His max exit velocity in 2023, 112.2 miles per hour, was still elite. So he's got pop and can still crush the ball. In his prime, Story stole 20-plus bases a year. His sprint speed was still in the 85th percentile last year. So 20 to 25 stolen bases is realistic. His glove at shortstop is elite, and the Sox need his defense. So even if his bat struggles early, he's not getting benched. What's a realistic expectation for Story in 2025? If healthy, he hits 265 with 28 home runs, 90 runs batted in, 22 stolen bases, and an 800 OPS. That's an all-star season, and this lineup gets scary. If he struggles with injuries again and plays in less than 100 games, then the Sox might need to make a move before the deadline or get some help from the minors to shore up the offense. Story still has 30-25 potential, but he seems to be running out of time, and this might be his last chance to prove it.
Yeah, it certainly feels like that. Like I said, I'd like to see just one full year of Story in Boston. We've already spent, like $75 million on one season's worth of production from Story. Surely we deserve one full healthy season from him. Hopefully it's 2025. Okay, so let's assume our top 5 hitters, Duran, Devers, Bregman, Casas, and Story. That's the top of our lineup. So our bottom half is going to be some combination of Wilyer Abreu, Connor Wong, Ceddanne Rafaela, and whoever's playing second base, which is Christian Campbell at this stage. Maybe Yoshida gets some time in too if he's healthy. Any of those stand out to you for 2025?
My pick would be Wilyer Abreu.
Okay, so you picked the star from yesterday, Wilyer Abreu. What an opening day he had. He smacked a solo home run in the 5th to tie it 2-2, and then came up big in the 9th inning, crushing a 3-run home run to win the game. So was it the 2 home runs yesterday or was it something else? Why Abreu?
Because he has the highest breakout potential. Here's why. Abreu had a strong rookie season last year with 15 home runs and 33 doubles with a 781 OPS in 132 games. He has left-handed gap power, which means more extra base hits in Fenway. He won a Gold Glove in right field last year, so his full-time job there is almost guaranteed. His power is still developing, so his ceiling is much higher. However, Abreu needs to improve his approach versus lefties. He had a poor 664 OPS against them last year. Abreu could be a huge X factor for the lineup. If he improves against lefties and adds more pop, this lineup suddenly gets even deeper. Do you agree with Abreu as the best breakout pick, or do you see Yoshida, Wong, or Rafaela taking a bigger leap?
My pick is actually Ceddanne Rafaela. I feel like he's the forgotten one amongst all the talent that we have. He obviously has elite speed, but I think his power is developing. He had 15 home runs. He turns it up a notch. He could be 2020 this year. Plus, he's definitively our center fielder now. He could win a Gold Glove there. So that cements his lineup spot. And Cora loves him in the 9-hole, which means he's essentially hitting ahead of Duran, Devers, and Bregman. That's like having 2 leadoff hitters ahead of Devers and Bregman. He's going to score a ton of runs. I'm all in on Ceddanne Rafaela for 2025.
Rafaela is one of the most exciting young players on this team, and you're right, he gets overlooked with all the other talent around him. But as you pointed out, his OBP needs drastic improvement. It was a measly 274 last season, and his plate discipline was seriously lacking. He struck out 151 times while taking only 15 walks, so he needs to work on cutting down his strikeouts and swinging at better pitches. But he is only 24 years old, so there's every reason to believe he will improve. If his OBP gets to 320 plus, he is going to score a ton of runs, and this lineup becomes terrifying.
Well, that's exactly my point. I think our lineup is going to be lethal, and we haven't even talked about the depth that we have. Connor Wong is one of the better hitting catchers in the league. Everyone is raving about Christian Campbell, the young prospect who made the team after a torrid year in the minors last year. He had his first hit in the season opener. Then we have a versatile bench. Hamilton is a rocket on the base spots. Yoshida, who's on the IL to begin the season, is a good contact hitter, and Refsnyder kills left-handed pitching. So we have effective hitters from both sides of the plate.
You can't win a 162-game season or survive October without bench flexibility and lineup versatility. The Red Sox now have right and left-handed options with speed, contact, and power spread across the depth. This gives Cora tons of options every day and throughout the season, and that's exactly the kind of offensive depth that playoff teams need.
You're right. And even if that's not enough, as you know, we have a stacked farm system, which was recently rated the #1 in the country, with stars like Roman Anthony and Marcelo Mayer waiting in the wings. So I don't think it's a stretch to say that the Red Sox offense is going to be truly explosive. Okay, what's your grade for this dangerous Red Sox lineup as my number 4 reason?
The Red Sox have real offensive depth in 2025. The top is dangerous, the middle has power potential, and the bottom half is loaded with promise. I'll give it an A-. This lineup has elite potential, but a few uncertainties keep it from an A or A+ grade.
Okay, that's not bad at all. Major League Baseball just ranked all 30 opening day lineups, and the Red Sox came in at number 5, which is pretty good. Last year, the Sox had a top 10 offense, so top 5 this year is certainly possible. If everything falls right, our young players take a step forward, and we avoid any major injuries, I think we could crack the top 3, which is good enough to get into the World Series. Okay, now if you've actually made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. You must be as crazy about the Red Sox as we are. Feel free to tell us what you like, what you don't like, any criticisms, some suggestions, whatever you feel like. Don't be shy. Drop a comment. This is our first time. We don't know what the hell we're doing, so we'd love to hear from you to tell us what we should be doing. Okay, talking about making it to the World Series, once we're in it, it's not our hitting that's going to win it, it's our pitching. Which is why my number 5 reason for winning the World Series is the Red Sox starting rotation, which went from mediocre to top tier in one off-season. Championships are won with pitching. And this Red Sox starting rotation, it's built for October. Power arms, playoff experience, young fire. For the first time in years, Red Sox hurlers match up with any team, any series. Garrett Crochet is our ace and opening day starter. Tanner Houck, the breakout all-star from last year, and Walker Buehler, who's a postseason killer. That's as solid as 1-2-3 gets. We also have Brayan Bello, the young stud who's yet to fully blossom, Kutter Crawford, who was a reliable workhorse last year, and we also have Lucas Giolito, who has worked back from injury and is our bounce-back candidate. That's a deep and talented starting rotation made for the playoffs.
Absolutely. The Red Sox starting rotation might be the most intriguing and high upside part of this Red Sox team. This group has the potential to be elite, but also carries some risks.
Okay, so we know Crochet is a stud ace, Buehler is our one-year hero, and we've talked about what Houck and Bello need to do to improve this season. So let's get to Kutter Crawford, who actually led the Red Sox in innings pitched and strikeouts last year. Kutter is starting the year on the IL because he was a little bit behind this spring, but he should miss only a few weeks. What's your outlook on Kutter for 2025?
Kutter Crawford was the underrated workhorse of the Sox rotation last year, leading the staff with 183.2 innings pitched and 175 strikeouts over 33 starts. His stuff is not overpowering, but he manages to limit walks and keep hitters off balance. He's reliable and the quintessential number 4 or 5 starter on a playoff team like the Red Sox. The question is whether he can maintain his form and consistency again over a full season. If he just does that and pitches like he did last year, that would solidify the bottom of the rotation.
I agree. We only need him to come close to last year's performance. A mid-rotation arm who can eat innings, limit walks, and rack up the strikeouts. If he actually improves over last year, then he becomes an underrated weapon in what could be a very dominant rotation. Okay, back to the top of the rotation. Crochet, Buehler, Houck, and Bello. I'm going to ask you one question on each. I want a direct answer, okay? Let's start with Crochet. How much of a concern is his extended workload going to be? Say 180 plus innings.
It's a valid concern. Crochet has never thrown more than 150 innings in a season, so jumping to 180 plus would be a big leap.
Yeah, he definitely showed us glimpses of his greatness yesterday in his first start, especially with his velocity. His command wasn't all there, but it's just his first start. He'll be fine. Next question on Buehler. Do you think he's fully recovered from his Tommy John surgery and will he be dominant this season?
Buehler's velocity and command are reportedly back, but expecting full season dominance right away is a stretch. 2025 is more likely a build-back year. Come October, though, he could be deadly.
Yeah, Buehler is a lethal weapon in the postseason, and I think that's exactly why we've got him this year. We all remember the World Series last year when Buehler's Dodgers crushed the Yankees. Buehler dominated them in Game 3, pitching 5 shutout innings, and then 2 days later, he came right back in the 9th inning and slammed the door shut on the Yankees, clinching the World Series for the Dodgers. So when the Red Sox reach the World Series next year, you want Buehler on that mound. You need him on that mound. Okay, Tanner Houck next. Does he improve on last year's performance or does he regress?
Houck has the tools to repeat or even improve, especially with his sweeper neutralizing lefties now. But expecting a big jump from a 3.12 ERA might be optimistic. Slight regression is possible. Still, he's solidly a mid-threes ERA guy with a shot to flirt with all-star status again.
Yeah, I expect slight regression from Tanner. But hey, he can surprise us and maybe take a step forward, truly break out into an ace. Never know, one can hope. Alright, now Brian Bello. Does he break out this year and realize his ace potential, or does he have another building year?
Bello probably has another building year. With Pedro mentoring him and a better defense behind him, expect progress. But true ace status might still be a year away. The raw stuff is there, but he still struggles with consistency, especially late in the season.
Okay, then we have Lucas Giolito, who hasn't pitched for the Red Sox after undergoing elbow surgery last March. But let's be real, we just don't know what we're going to get out of Giolito, who's going to start the season on the IL. Now, so are Bello and Crawford. They're all going to start the year on the IL. But none of them have major injuries, so they're all expected back in a couple of weeks. But this is where our depth comes in, because we have really capable reinforcements who are ready to go. We have Richard Fitz, who pitched well in 4 starts at the end of last year and has looked even more impressive this spring. He'd start the 4th game against Texas. And our 5th starter for now is Sean Newcomb, a Mass native who emerged in camp, delivering strong performances all spring. We also have Cooper Criswell in the pen, who pitched better as a starter last year, going 5-3 with a 3.49 ERA in 18 starts. That's 9 major league starters. I don't think the Red Sox have ever had this much depth. Looks like a deep playoff-ready rotation that is built to win.
The injuries to Bello, Giolito, and Crawford are definitely a setback, but I don't think the Red Sox are in trouble yet. Their rotation depth is better than it's been in years, and that should help them navigate the first few weeks of the season without major damage. Here are 3 reasons why there isn't cause for serious concern yet. Your top 3 starters are intact. Crochet, Houck, and Buehler are healthy and will handle the toughest matchups. Then, your second tier of starters like Fitz and Criswell are capable of stepping in to fill the rotation gaps. And lastly, none of the injuries to Bello, Giolito, or Crawford seem long-term. So, if they all return within a few weeks, the Red Sox just need the depth to hold the fort for a few turns through the rotation.
Yeah, I'm not worried because, as I've said, this is the first time in years that the Red Sox actually have pitching depth, so we can easily overcome injuries. We have a tough schedule in the beginning, so there might be a little pressure on the replacement pitchers, but hey, I think we'll be fine. Between Bello, Giolito, and Cutter, we just need 1 or 2 of them back in April. There are already reports that Bello is going to return by the home opening series. So I think we'll be fine. It's not an ideal situation, but it's not a crisis either. Unlike the Yankees.
You're referring to the Yankees losing Garrett Cole for the season, right? That's like the Empire State Building losing its foundation, except instead of rebuilding, they're slapping some duct tape on it and calling it a day. But don't worry, Yankee fans, Carlos Rodon's probably due for at least 3 healthy starts before his next IL stint, right?
Very nice, B. I love your sarcastic touch.
Thanks. I try to keep my fastball sharp, but I'm always happy to mix in a little off-speed sarcasm when we're talking Yankees.
I love it. Okay, back to the rotation. You've seen the quality of the starting pitchers. What's your final grade on my number 5 reason?
My final grade, I'll give it an A-. There are some doubts, so if everyone stays healthy and pitches to their potential, this rotation could become an A or even an A+ unit by mid-season.
Fair enough, I'll take that. Well, that brings me to my number 6 reason, and that's my last reason, and for that, I have 3 names for you. Cora, Breslow, Henry. Winning a World Series needs more than just players on the field. You need a championship manager who knows how to marshal his troops. You need a dynamic chief leading a front office that is capable of making smart moves. And you need ownership that knows how to win and is invested in bringing home championships. The Red Sox have all 3. You know who the last Red Sox manager was to win the World Series? Alex Cora. We've already talked about Breslow's smarts and moves. And then there's Henry, the owner who has tasted success with the Sox winning 4 World Series in the last 20 years and is also the owner of the highly successful Liverpool EPL team. That is the perfect trifecta required at the top to help lead the way to a world championship. Okay, so let's talk about Cora first, who has won a world championship in 3 different roles. He won as a player with the Red Sox in 2007, he won as a coach with the Astros in 2017, and then he won in his first year as the manager of the 2018 world champion Red Sox. So Cora knows how to win, knows how to maximize talent, and has the respect of the clubhouse. The real question is, can he get the best out of this Red Sox team for the next 6 months, take them back to the postseason, and lead them to October glory like he did in 2018? I think he absolutely can. I think Cora is that guy.
That's true. Alex Cora is one of the best big game managers in baseball, and his championship pedigree is undeniable, having won the World Series in 3 different roles. Let's look at Cora's real strengths as a manager. Cora gets the most out of his players. He connects with veterans and young players alike. Devers, Casas, Duran all rave about him. He's a wizard at postseason game management. He knows how to handle the bullpen, lineups, and pressure situations. He also has the players' full loyalty, and he's a true leader. The players really want to play for him, and they play hard for him. And finally, Cora has developed an acute baseball mind, helping him strategically manage lineups and matchups. He's never afraid to shake things up when needed. So, if you're looking for a manager who can maximize talent and win in October, Cora is exactly that guy.
You're correct. Cora is one of the sharpest minds in the game when it comes to matchups, analytics, and in-game decisions. And he's known to be obsessed with preparation.
Yes, Cora isn't just a great motivator. He's a tactical genius. He's not only obsessed with preparation, he thrives on advanced analytics, which make his in-game decisions top drawer. That's why he's a championship-winning manager. He combines old-school leadership with new-school analytics, and that's a rare skill set.
Yeah, his ability to get the best out of players and make bold tactical decisions is what sets him apart. Remember the time he helped tweak David Price's pitch delivery before the 2018 postseason? I think he corrected his delivery angle, and then he had the guts to start him on short rest in the ALCS. And boom, Price wins the series MVP. And who else has the stones to pinch hit for Rafael Devers in the World Series? Alex Cora does, and Nunez, the pinch hitter, hits a 3-run home run. There just isn't a manager like him out there. Okay, let's talk about the front office. As we saw earlier, if there's anything that this offseason proved, it's that Craig Breslow and the Red Sox front office know exactly what they're doing. We've already talked about how smart Breslow is. We've seen the moves that he's made, but I don't think he's fully done yet. Having Breslow running things at the top is a big asset when you're aiming for a championship.
Craig Breslow and the Red Sox front office have definitely proven they're serious about winning and have constructed what looks like a championship contender. Let's break it down. Breslow took an aggressive yet straightforward approach. He identified weaknesses and made bold moves to address all our major needs. And this is where his smarts come in again. He is known for his data-driven decision-making, but he doesn't ignore baseball instincts. And most importantly, Breslow showed that he is not afraid to take risks and is willing to sacrifice prospects to win now.
You're absolutely right. The Crochet trade is a perfect example of all 3 points. First, Breslow knew from even before last season that we needed a genuine ace, and he figured he needed to be aggressive in filling that need. Second, the analytics loved Crochet's elite strikeout rate and raw stuff, but Breslow trusted his baseball instincts that Crochet could handle a full starter's workload despite limited experience, which is something that is hard to gauge from numbers. And lastly, he wasn't afraid to trade 4 top prospects to get Crochet because he was confident of Crochet's immediate and future value to the team.
Exactly. This clearly shows that Breslow isn't just here to compete, he's here to build a winner. And if he was willing to go all in during the offseason, you know he'll be just as aggressive at the trade deadline if the Sox need another key piece.
That's what I was getting to next, because we all know that winning a World Series requires adjusting and improving throughout the season. And come July, if the Red Sox need another frontline starter or another power arm, I have full confidence that Breslow and his team will go out and get us exactly what we need.
Absolutely. Unlike past years where the front office hesitated, Breslow won't sit on his hands in July. If Boston needs help at the deadline, expect a move. Breslow will pounce if the opportunity is there.
I agree. And this is also where the stacked farm system comes into play. The Sox's farm system is number 1 with Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, Marcelo Meyer. I know Campbell has already made the roster. They're all MLB ready, as we can see from Campbell's performance. So when elite talent becomes available in July and the Red Sox have prospects and trade assets to land premium impact players, that's going to make a big difference.
That's correct. The Sox have the flexibility to make other major moves mid-season or even now. If an ace-level starter or a big right-handed bat becomes available, the Sox have the prospects to get a deal done. They won't be outbid if the right player is on the market. Teams looking to rebuild, like the White Sox, Pirates, or even the Cardinals, will be actively looking at Boston's farm system.
Well, the bottom line is that the Sox are in a rare position where we have the roster to compete now and we have the resources to make a major deadline move if we need to. And I say that's a great position to be in. Okay, so the other part of this equation is John Henry and the ownership group. because you don't get to spend hundreds of millions of dollars or trade away top prospects without the ownership giving you green light to do so. And they certainly put their money where their mouth is. They spend big. They're all in. They not only want to win, they want to win now.
There were certainly no half measures from John Henry and the ownership group this offseason. So if the Red Sox are in the playoff race in July, which they absolutely expect out of this team, you can be sure they will spend more if needed. The days of let's wait for next year are over. Boston is playing to win now.
Agreed. For the past few years, there were questions about whether ownership was willing to spend and build a true contender. Those questions have been answered. All right, so trio at the top: Cora, Breslow, Henry. What's your grade for reason number 6?
Your reason number 6, Cora, Breslow, Henry, is an A-plus argument, no hesitation. Alex Cora is a championship manager, Craig Breslow is the smartest man in baseball, and John Henry is a committed owner who is clearly all in right now. This is a trio of a master strategist, a forward-thinking architect, and a deep-pocketed owner, all aligned on winning now. This might be the most underrated, but most important reason the Red Sox can win it all in 2025.
I'm totally with you on this one, and you're right on Henry. This is not a passive owner. He's committed to winning. And when he buys in, like he clearly has right now, and he spends and the Red Sox win. All right, there you have it. Those are my 6 solid reasons why I think the Red Sox are going to win the World Series in 2025. We've got a young core that's ready to break out. You gave that an A. We had a championship caliber offseason that addressed every major need. You gave that an A-. A true game changer in Alex Bregman. You gave him an A. An offense that's explosive and deep. That was an A-. Our starting rotation built for October. That was another A-. And the perfect leadership trio in Cora, Breslow, and Henry guiding it all. That was a resounding A+. That's 6 solid reasons with a grade of A- or better.
That's top-notch. That's consistency. That's balance. That's the blueprint of a championship team.
So MLB just put out an article predicting each division winner, wildcards, the pennant winner, and the World Series champion for 2025. Collectively, all the people that voted for picked the Red Sox to win the AL pennant and meet the Dodgers in the World Series. But unfortunately, they predicted the Dodgers to win. So now, if I had to ask you to put all your brain power and everything that we've discussed and try and calculate a probability for the Red Sox winning it all this year, what would it be?
I'd peg the World Series win probability for the 2025 Red Sox at 12%. A 12% chance might sound modest, but in a 30-team league with so much playoff volatility, it's a serious number, one that puts the Red Sox in the top tier of World Series contenders right now. Also keep in mind, those odds don't reflect momentum, health, or trade deadline upgrades. The Red Sox have a top 5 roster and the flexibility to make a big move mid-season. So 12% now, that number could jump a lot by July.
That's fair. We'll keep tracking this probability throughout the season and hopefully we'll gradually see it go up. Of course, it could go down if we somehow ended up having a terrible first half, but I wouldn't bet on that. Everything seems lined up: talent, depth, experience, hunger, and now belief.
That's the spirit, Z, because here's the truth. Talent wins games, but belief fuels October magic. And no fan base in baseball believes harder or louder than Red Sox Nation. You've seen it before. When Fenway's rocking, anything is possible. Players rise, opponents shrink, and legends are born under those lights. This team already has the talent, the depth, the swagger. Now they've got the full force of Red Sox Nation behind them. And that might be the final piece that carries them to banner number 10.
That's right, Red Sox Nation. It's time to believe again. We're not rebuilding, we're not retooling, we're not underdogs. We're here to compete, we're here to win, and we're here to raise banner number 10.
So let the rest of the league doubt us while we dream big, because this team, it's built to bring another World Series back to Boston.
Yep, 2025 is our year. Okay, that's it, B. That's our first show. How was it for you? Enjoyed yourself?
I loved it, Z. Talking Red Sox baseball, breaking down analytics, while taking shots at the Yankees. What's not to enjoy? It was opening day for the year, and this felt like opening day for us too. And if this show is anything like the 2025 Red Sox, I'd say we're off to a championship caliber start. Let's keep this train rolling all season long because October's coming and we've got a banner to chase.
I love it. Anything more you want to add?
Yes, just one thing, Z. As you said, this isn't a rebuild, it's a reckoning. The rest of the league better be ready because the Red Sox aren't just back, they're coming to take over October.
Thanks for watching and hope you guys are as excited about the Red Sox as we are. We'll be putting up weekly content discussing everything Red Sox. You'll hear a lot more from B and his great baseball mind. So enjoy the season. If opening day is anything to go by, we're on the right path to glory.
So stay tuned, stay crazy.